Senator, in my experience, homosexual Marines create problems on the battlefield. Let me give you a case in point. Early years of Vietnam, 9th Marines, west of Da Nang, rifle company on a ridgeline combat outpost. The intelligence was that the North Vietnamese were going to attack that night. The unit was put on 50% alert, which meant one slept, one stood on watch. About 1 o'clock in the morning, a fight broke out in a foxhole because the young Marine was being molested by his squad leader. To the right of that foxhole, there was a machine gun section that opened up and almost killed a combat patrol that was out in the front. Now, the natural question is, okay, well, fine, don't you have rules to deal with assault? And the answer to that is yes. The real issue, though, was that after we sorted this whole thing out, the sergeant, the squad leader, essentially said, okay, I was just adjusting his equipment, waking him up because I thought there was something out to the front. He denied it happened. The young PFC, who was new to the organization, said, wait a minute, this really happened to me. He was molesting me. The unit took sides. Naturally, the squad leader was a popular person, been around for a while. The PFC was a new kid. About 3 days, that unit divided down the middle. Those that supported the popular squad leader, those that kind of thought the new kid might be believable. The only reason we sorted the issue out was because the sergeant committed the same offense about 3 days later. But the real tragedy of this story is the young PFC continually insisted for a long period of time that nobody in his organization believed it happened. He lost faith in his chain of command. So I would argue the case that if you look at, and you can say that I'm some old guy that's been around for a while and probably been around for too long, but I read...
You're not the only one that
well... But I read the Defense Department's recently released sexual assault report. And the thing that really bothers me about this issue is that the report says, and this is last year's report, there's been an overall 11% rise in sexual assaults in the military. 16% rise in Afghanistan and Iraq. Over 3,200 cases of sexual. We're not talking about sexual harassment. We're talking about sexual assault. 7% of those. That's about 226 male-on-male assaults where rape and sodomy took place. And the Department of Defense will clearly indicate that that's an underreporting. I would stipulate that from my days in Vietnam in the early 60s, when I had this sergeant that almost got a combat patrol killed, to the 226 male soldiers and Marines who were molested, that there's something wrong with our sexual behavior policy.
Thank you, General.